From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day, this is Dateline Malacañang and here are the news. The Philippine Presidential Communications Office or PCO on Thursday announced the appointment of several officials as Special Envoy to Korea, Commissioner of the Presidential Commission on Good Government or PCGG, Mactan Cebu International Airport Authority, and the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA. Brian Lim was appointed as Special Envoy of the President to the Republic of Korea for Trade and Investments, while Angelito Vergel de Dios is the new Commissioner of the PCGG. On the other hand, Julius Neri Jr. will lead the Mactan Cebu International Airport Authority as the General Manager and Chief Executive Officer. Also appointed were the new Foreign Service Officers under the Department of Foreign Affairs or DFA, namely Jules Patrick Aguila, Jerickson Arceo, Ri Sheena Aoyong, Dayan Merce Bartolome, Terry Adolf Bautista, Christopher Castillo, Crystal Gail Dampil, Peter John de la Fuente, Dana Michelle del Rosario, Armand Louis Dulay, Micah Ross Fontelera, Kevin Mark Gomez, Ana Cristina Iglesias, Kenneth Jim Joseph Jimeno, Angela Cristel Laurente, Mary Jacel Mentir, Jordan Isabel Morales, Crystal Mary Padon Rabanal, Rainier Padua, and Cheryl Uy, all of whom will be occupying the position of Foreign Service Officer Class 3.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, the United Nations or UN and other foreign governments joined the Philippines in commemorating the victims of the devastating Super Typhoon Yolanda that struck the Philippines and killed thousands 10 years ago. Yolanda battered the Philippines on November 8, 2013 and left over 6,300 people dead and thousands of families displaced. Over 16 million people were affected in 41 provinces across 9 regions. In the immediate aftermath, the Philippine Humanitarian Country Team or HCT said it helped coordinate assistance provided by international and national partners between November 2013 to August 2014. A total of 3.7 million people received food assistance, 2.3 million children were vaccinated, 110 local government units were given improved vaccine cold chain facilities, more than 1 million received cash aid and various assistance, and thousands were housed in emergency shelters, among others. Beyond this, the HCT members continued to provide support to restore livelihoods as well as local institutions and public services for recovery. Climate resilient and gender-sensitive evacuation centers and resilient permanent housing for displaced families were also provided. The European Union, the United States, Canada, France, Japan, China, Australia, the United Kingdom, India, and Israel were among the many embassies that also paid respect to the victims of the typhoon. In a post on X, the European Union delegation in Manila said it has provided 40 million euros in humanitarian assistance and early recovery interventions to help those affected. Including the assistance from other EU member states, the total EU aid amounts to over 180 million euros. The United States, in an ex-post, also recalled its humanitarian and development aid totaling $143 million US, which supported the procurement of critical food, health, shelter, water, and hygiene support. The U.S. military supported the U.S. Agency for International Development, or USAID's, response by airlifting critical relief supplies to communities cut off by the storm. Coordination between the U.S. military and the Philippine Air Force also enabled Tacloban Airport to reopen after sustaining severe damage, allowing the rest of the world to help provide support.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, the Philippine Department of Foreign Affairs, or DFA, on Wednesday thanked the governments of Qatar, Egypt, and Israel after 40 Filipinos and one Palestinian spouse were able to leave the Gaza Strip through the Rafah border crossing. This is the first batch of Filipinos who crossed the border through Philippine government-led facilitation with Israel and Egypt. Two other Filipino medical workers left the besieged enclave last week when Qatar brokered the limited evacuation of international aid workers and wounded Palestinians. In an ex-post, DFA Secretary Enrique Manalo thanked the governments of Israel and Egypt, as well as to the Philippine embassies in the said countries and Jordan. In a separate call with Qatar Ambassador to the Philippines Ahmed Saad Al-Homidi, Manalo conveyed that Manila recognizes Doha's role in the opening of the border crossing. There is no information as of yet whether another batch of Filipino evacuees will exit Gaza Strip soon. A total of 46 were earlier given permission to cross the border, but only 40 decided to leave. DFA Undersecretary Eduardo Jose de Vega said that the 40 overseas Filipino workers, or OFWs, may be here as soon as Friday or Saturday. De Vega earlier said that there are still 95 Filipinos left in the Gaza Strip, 19 of whom are determined to remain there.
Dateline Malacañang.
Meanwhile, Malacañang on Wednesday said that Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. and Timor-Leste President Jose Ramos Horta are scheduled to meet on Friday to discuss Manila and Dili's technical, political, educational, and economic partnerships. In a statement, Communications Secretary Cheloy Garafil said the President and Ramos Horta would hold a bilateral meeting at Malacañang Palace in Manila to discuss various areas of cooperation such as technical, political, educational, and economic partnerships. Garafil said officials of the Department of Foreign Affairs, Department of Trade and Industry, Department of Justice, Department of Science and Technology, and the Department of Social Welfare and Development would be present during the two leaders' meeting. Ramos Horta arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport, or NAIA, in Pasay City on Wednesday afternoon. He was welcomed by Philippine Ambassador to the Democratic Republic of Timor-Leste, Belinda Ante, and Manila International Airport Authority Assistant General Manager Manuel Gonzalez. His official visit is aimed at further strengthening Timor-Leste's bilateral relations with the Philippines. The Philippines and Timor-Leste formally established their diplomatic relations on May 20, 2002. Timor-Leste joined as an observer during the 42nd Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN Summit in Indonesia in May. President Marcos earlier expressed support for Timor-Leste as it moves forward, or as it moves towards becoming a democratic state and eventually becoming an ASEAN member state. Ramos Horta earlier said Timor-Leste would ideally become a full-fledged ASEAN member in 2025, even though the country remains open to other time frames recommended by other Southeast Asian leaders.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Department of Migrant Workers or DMW on Wednesday evening welcomed a total of 11 overseas Filipino workers or OFWs from war-torn Middle East. 9 OFWs from Lebanon who were caught up in the tension between Israel and the militant group Hezbollah arrived at the Ninoy Aquino International Airport or NAIA Terminal 3 in Pasay City aboard Qatar Airways flight UR928. DMW officer in charge, Under Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak, personally welcomed the OFWs and assured them that they will receive assistance from the national government. This brings the total to 19 OFWs from Lebanon who were repatriated due to the building tension in the region. Tensions have been building up between Israel and Hezbollah as they sympathize with the rebel group Hamas in Palestine. Meanwhile, Under Secretary Kakdak also welcomed 2 OFWs who were one of the first to get out of the West Bank, which is a territory of Palestine.
Dateline Malacañang.
In other news stories, the German embassy in Manila on Wednesday said that the German and Philippine governments are in talks for a potential deal that would help streamline the recruitment of Filipino professionals. Speaking on the sidelines of the Mabuhay Germany press launch in Makati City, German Embassy Economic Counselor David Kleb said the agreement would work more on streamlining technicalities in the recruitment of Filipinos working in other sectors other than healthcare. The Philippines has been part of Germany's Triple Win or Sustainable Recruitment of Nurses project since 2013. In 2022, the two states signed a Memorandum of Understanding or MOU on Filipino healthcare deployment, which sought to enhance the recruitment procedures for Filipino nurses under the Triple Win. Kleb said the new agreement is going to include other professionals but declined to name the specific professions covered, citing the ongoing talks. The type of agreement, whether it will be a non-binding instrument like an MOU, is also yet to be finalized. Klebs, however, said there would be no difference if the final deal is binding or not, as Germans are bound by their own law to have the highest recruitment standards. Apart from labor and human rights, the Philippines-Germany relations span across various areas of cooperation, including on climate change, renewable energy, education, and trade and investment. Ahead of the celebration of the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between the Philippines and Germany in 2024, stakeholders are also working to strengthen bilateral trade and synergy between Filipino and German businesses. From November 16 to 18, the German-Philippine Chamber of Commerce Incorporated will stage a 3-day business fair, Mabuhay Germany, at the World Trade Center in Pasay City. The event, with free admission, will feature business leaders, industry experts, and key government officials from the Philippines and Germany to provide updates on the combined efforts of Manila and Berlin to drive innovation and support sustainable development.
Dateline Malacañang.
The Philippine Department of Budget and Management or DBM said that President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has expressed support to the Filipino Muslim community through the creation of an executive committee on the commemoration of Islamic presence in the country. In a statement, DBM Secretary Amena Pangandaman said the President recently signed an administrative order or AO creating a steering committee. The signed AO states that the presence of Islam in the country and how the Muslim Filipinos shape Philippine history and heritage is recognized by the administration. Pangandaman, the only female Muslim cabinet member, said the Situ Mi Ayat wa Kamsun Al-Dikra National Committee will be in charge of preparations for the celebration. The budget chief added that the committee will be chaired by the executive secretary and vice-chaired by the National Historical Commission of the Philippines or NHCP along with DBM as one of its members. Pangandaman said Project 650 or 650PH in 2030 will mark 650 years of Islamic presence in the Philippines by the year 2030. President Marcos's approval of the AO is in line with the celebration of the 643rd Sheikh Makhoum Day and the unveiling of the historical marker of the Sheikh Maktoum Mosque in Tawi-Tawi on November 7. Pangandaman said the project intends to highlight the Philippines as a multicultural country that acknowledges pluralism and where religious tolerance and inclusivity thrive, all of these leading to the area of unity or to the idea rather of unity amid diversity, which will help fulfill the President's campaign for national unity.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes today's edition of Dateline Malacañang for Radyo Pilipinas World Service. This has been Steph Vicente. Good day and stay safe, everyone.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.